Hi guys, welcome to Shawn Watson Davis TV. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you would, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, drop a heart in comments, and share this video with at least one person right now. Thank you so much. Today I have seated with me Ernie Cabule. And Ernie and I are going to have a discussion about this year's Oscar. So, as some of you may know, Will Smith took to the stage and hit Chris Rock out of anger with respect to him insulting his wife during a joke that was delivered as entertainment at the Oscars. And so we're going to have a discussion about that. And then if you would, in comments, let us know how you feel about the things that we are discussing here today. So I'd like to start with question number 1. Chris Rock is a professional comedian. He is known to be provocative in his entertainment style. So Ernie, what is your opinion with respect to comedians' usage of targeting audience members as part of their joke routine? How do you feel about that?
It depends on how he approaches them and what's the tenor of the comments that he makes about him. Is something mean and malicious? No. If it's pointing out something that he finds interesting, silly even, that's another statement. But I don't think that they should attack somebody in terms of using humor when the person can't defend themselves or is certainly not capable of defending themselves on that same level.
Gotcha. In my opinion, I feel that comedians should not use personal attacks. I've never really liked that, and I've never liked it because I know that some people can take that and other people cannot take that. And I also know that people are coming out to enjoy themselves when they come to these events. You know, people get dressed up, they spend the money to do it. For some people, it may be the first time that they've ever been able to come out in a year or so. It's their first date night out because they've been saturated with working, taking care of kids, what have you. And some people are out every week. But what I'm saying there is that you just don't know the backdrop of your audience, but you know it's a mixed audience, mixed personalities, mixed beliefs, and etc. And so my sensitivity to that is that when people come out, they come out to have a good time. And I'm always afraid that somebody is going to be offended and basically be hurt. They might even laugh. You know, because Will, he laughed a little bit at first. And I think Jada was ready to laugh. And then she digested it and she was wounded by it. And so I wish personally that comedians would steer clear of things that might hurt, insult, or injure their audience members.
Well, you never know what type of reaction that you're going to receive. You don't know the burdens that someone is carrying. And that one comment might be the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. That's why you should temper whatever you say to people. And you have to be careful about how you do approach things. Most guys, you say something to them, it bounces right off because they'll generally speak and say something right back that's just as snarky. But women in general don't have the same type of humor that men have and take this very personal, even though it's not meant to hurt their feelings.
Exactly. And I do think that we're socialized in school from pre-K all the way through that we are not to hurt anybody, we're not to hit people, and we're not to insult people. And I think that as soon as we get away from that, it opens the door for exactly what happened between these two. And so I think it's just best that we all stick to these universal tenets that are in keeping with the humanity of everybody. Moving on to the second event. So Will took to the stage and he assaulted Chris Rock. And then when he returned to his seat, Chris Rock was trying to play it off, which then Will, I believe twice, wasn't it 2 times that he said, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth.
Yes.
Exactly. So how do you feel about Will hitting Chris Rock as well as making the statements that he made from his seat? What are your thoughts with respect to the Will's mindset and his actions?
It was a blow to his ego for whatever reason. I don't believe that the comment was made to be malicious. We don't know for certain whether it was a scripted remark or just something off the cuff. But unless Chris Rock had previous knowledge about Jada's medical condition, he wouldn't have known that this was a medical situation rather than just a style statement. And part two of that is Will just took it upon himself to be insulted and have to take care of it at the moment. His ego took over everything, including his good sense. It's never all right to assault somebody, and even if you may be hurt by them, in that type of situation, take 5. You can address this issue later after the event is over, and you can discuss it. These people know each other. They can discuss it calmly and clearly, then understand that it's a joke, make your apologies or whatever. But there was no excuse for what he did.
I agree. I have compassion for the backdrop to Will's psychology of mind, in that I understand that he was raised in a home where the father was violent, and that he, as a young son, felt helpless to help his mother. I know that he has recently produced King Richard and has been immersed in that family story and has a great deal of respect and admiration for Richard Williams' love, care, protection of his daughters. And I know that Will and Jada have experienced some turbulence in their marriage. I know that there are health issues within the family. And I know that when you love your family and your family is experiencing difficult issues, that it makes you all the more sensitive and protective. So I have compassion for the backdrop story and the psychology of mind that I imagine that Will has. And yet, I can't condone assaulting, because it's not the world that we want to live in. It's not the way that we, again, teach children to solve problems. And we do have to be exemplary of what we want to see in the world. And so he definitely misstepped. So that's part 2. Then the third part is Chris Rock's response to being hit. What do you think about his handling of that?
Actually, I thought that he handled that pretty well. He had to be in shock because he was totally surprised, caught off guard about what would happen, and the fact that that Will Smith struck him like that. He did the right thing, I believe, in not retaliating and not promoting the situation or making it even worse. He just went on about his business, quote unquote, like nothing happened, but he just kept on with the show, because as a showman, the show must go on. This is not Will's party. It's not up to Will to go up and direct and do something stupid like this. And he couldn't take himself out of the situation and understand that this is not his moment, and that the Oscars are not about him, and he can't do whatever he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. That's a further comment also, that we have to be careful about how we approach people and what we say to people, because you never know what you say may be the wrong thing.
Absolutely, I agree. I have a lot of respect for Chris Rock's professionalism in not retaliating. I also appreciate his immediacy in saying that he would not press charges. That was an indication to me that he had no desire to escalate the situation and that he had remorse. I'm imagining that he has remorse for a joke that hurt, even though it was not his intention to hurt. It did hurt.
Correct.
And I imagine that he has remorse for that. And so those are my thoughts with respect to that. I do really appreciate Chris's de-escalation of the issue.
Correct. Well, we've all said something stupid to someone that hurt them, and we had absolutely no intention of doing so. And I truly believe that was the situation here. He's just making a joke about G.I. Jane because of the similarities of their hairstyle, and I believe that was it. Having said that, it's always okay to stand up for your mate and make sure that they're protected, but how you do it and where you do it should be determining factors. Because it would have been just as easy for Will to pull him aside after the event and said, I didn't like what you said. And they could have straightened it out then. As it turns out, both of them have submitted apologies to one another, and I'm sure they'll kiss and make up the next time they see each other. But, this is just one of those things that happen, and sometimes things get out of control, and this is a prime example.
I agree. I would love it. You know, Jada has that program called the Red Table Discussion. Are you familiar with it? I would love for Chris to come on that show. It wouldn't surprise me if that weren't in the works right now, so that he could give that formal apology and will, and basically just be an example of how to get over things. Because in our society, we will be stronger as couples, as family units, if we learn how to turn the page.
Well, you have to use your words, not your fist.
Exactly. And so I have written a book series entitled 101 Conversational Questions, and it's all about facilitating the social, the interpersonal skills of everyone. There is a page dedicated to ground rules on page 19 of each of the books, and they are basically recommended a matrix, if you will, that help people to learn how to communicate, which includes patience, really. You know, it includes listening with patience, and it includes going back and forth on issues to understand where each one is coming from. And then, Ernie, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you agree that it's important that once you both express 2 or 3 times, if you don't agree, that it's reasonable, acceptable to just agree to disagree?
And keep moving. Absolutely. Clear communications definitely is a goal of relationships. It's something that's mandatory. You have to be able to clearly speak your mind, clearly state what the issue is without making it personal. We're never going to agree on everything. That's just not the way things go. But you should always be able to listen and understand where the person's coming from, so you can have a valid conversation and decide together how you're going to resolve it. Like you just said, sometimes you can't agree, and just have to call it good at that and keep moving. That can't be the only thing that's in the relationship that you have that will determine the factors of the longevity.
Exactly. So again, we have confidence in Will Smith and in Chris Rock. Know that they're hugely talented. They have a track record of doing great things. And so we expect that their normal character has returned by now, and that they will be great role models of how to, as you say, kiss and make up and get on with the business of continuing to love one another work together for the betterment of themselves and everybody that they're around. So, again, we thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Please leave your comments, whatever your thoughts may be. At a minimum, drop a heart in comments, please. And anything that you have to say, we'd love to hear it. If you would, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, drop a heart in comments, and share this video with at least one other person. Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.
Have a great day.